What is it? Oh, May 16th, 2018, Board of Supervisors meetings. Would everyone please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Are there any public comments on the agenda items? Seeing none, we'll move on. We will have an executive session following this meeting. We will now also be giving out the Cleanup Day Awards and the Fishing Derby Awards. Let's start with the Cleanup Day Awards. We have David Yerk. Is he here? Not here? Okay, we'll hold that one. How about Vicki Croft-Hamill? Ah, there you are. Okay. Cody? Ah, there he is.
Do you mind if I video him?
That's fine.
Oh, did you want to? Josh Pulse. There we go. Mom done? All right, and we will give David his at another time. Moving on to the Fishing Derby Awards. Mr. Kaiser.
Yes. Jim, would you like to read the names off?
I will. I will read the names off here.
When your name's called, would you please come up front here to me?
I'm going to find my sheet. There we go. We have Piper Monte,
Piper Monte,
age 4.
age 4.
This is for the largest fish.
Now, by the way, if most of you that don't know, Piper caught the largest fish of the day. 20, a little over 20 inches, I think it was.
Wow.
Tiger trout.
No.
So, congratulations, great job. I want you to hold that now, okay? We got 2 more girls coming up, so hang on, right?
Kylie Zilli. Is it Zilli?
Hey, you got my name right.
Age 9.
Kylie's fish was 15 3/4, right?
All right. And Madeline Monte. I think we have a
Madeline
sister.
Monte, yes.
Age 10.
Whoa. All right, Madeline's fish is 15 3/4 well. I would like you to stay here, please, because we're going to get a picture. Okay? Smile for the cameras. Okay, great. Thank you, girls. All these girls. I think that's the first time that we've ever had all 3 winners girls.
Does anybody mind if I put this up on the internet? Everybody okay? All right.
Thank you for asking, Sue.
I do want to say a few words regarding the fishing derby. We could not make this possible without the generous donations of the businesses and people in the community that have donated for the fish, and our wonderful Park and Rec committee, who has worked feverishly to put this together. 2 members I see here, Bob and Suzanne. Great job, Bob. Great job with the hot dogs. Suzanne, you and Eddie's here. Yes. Do I see any other Park and Rec members? No. Anyway. Thank you all for coming. It was a huge success. We even had complaints that there wasn't any room to fish. So that means the pond was full. Thank you all for coming.
Okay.
And I do not want to forget my fellow supervisors and myself for providing that money to the kids that comes out of their pocket. Thank you, fellas.
Our pleasure.
Okay, Jim.
Okay. Oh, yes, Ibby.
I would just like to make note that Jay does a great deal to help us with this.
Yes, he
project.
does. Absolutely.
And I think he deserves a big hand.
Jay's the big fish.
Okay, on the consent agenda tonight, we have the April 18th minutes, the Conservation Committee, the wind plan review status and authorization vouchers, the emergency services report, the building zoning and building permit report, and the public works report. Do you gentlemen have anything to add or remove from the consent agenda?
No,
I do not.
I put forth a motion for
Okay.
approval as presented.
Second.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Confirmed appointments. Regina Schrameyer?
Regina Schrameyer, 2115 Sterners Road. I'm going to read so I don't forget. So during the fall, I had occasion to request information that was given to Mrs. Banis Clemens under the Right to Know regulations. However, while studying the information, I also found paperwork not related to the topic of her trash code violation. I found a chart with the cost of health care insurance for the Board of Supervisors. The amount spent on this insurance, paid for by the township residents, blew me away. I was upset because I have attended township meetings as regularly as possible the last several years. During that time, I have listened to the neighboring volunteer fire companies attend 14 meetings, a month's worth of meetings, to get West Rock Hill Township to approve to access home insurance policies for funds to help defray the cost of fighting the fire. I've listened to hemming and hawing over using a couple $1,000s to fix or expand James Park facilities to get a single yellow line painted on Lawn Avenue. I've watched as compassionate friends practically groveled for months to get permission to create a flower garden using their own funds. Those requests were nothing compared to the health care insurance costs. The figures I found are inclusive of 2014 through 2017. As I go through the dollar totals, I'd also like you to keep in mind that I found that on the internet, that at several places, that a family of 4 in 2015 paid $6,251 per year, and in 2016 it was $7,983. In 2014, the health insurance cost for Mr. Duval was $27,465.12. Mr. Kaiser, $22,269.60. Mr. Mann was $27,465.12, for a total of $77,199.84. In 2015, Mr. Duval's total was $30,032.64. Mr. Kaiser was $24,786.96. And Mr. Mann was $30,032.64. In 2016, Mr. Duval's expense was $33,402.96. Mr. Kaiser's was $28,058.52. And Mr. Miller's was $33,402.96, for a total of $94,864.44. In 2017, Mr. Duval's cost was $34,768.08. Mr. Kaiser was $29,755.68. Mr. Miller's was $5,196, for a total of $69,719.76. My question is, why are we paying this much for health insurance, especially compared to what the national averages are, for 3 supervisors and their spouses? And why is there such a discrepancy in 2017 between Mr. Miller and the other 2 supervisors? The township seems to require that we shop around for the best price on every other project that's undertaken in this township. Why not health insurance?
Maybe I should probably do the legal end of it
Yeah,
first, and
yeah.
then I can shape the framework for whatever discussion you want to have about the actual money part of it. From the legal standpoint, the second-class township code, that's the code under which the Board of Supervisors operates, provides that members of the Board of Supervisors may participate in the health insurance plan that's provided or offered to the employees of the township. So the answer to part of your question is the second-class township code provides for that as part of the supervisor's compensation.
So are you telling me like they are the costs for the the same cost for the employees of this township?
I think the paper that you got, if what you started with was what we provided Mrs. Banis Clemens as part of her right to know law request.
And it was a packet that happened to be in the same folder?
Well, it was one of the questions that she asked. She had a rather lengthy
Oh.
right to know law request with maybe 15, 16 items on the right to
Okay.
know law request, and that was one of them.
Right,
And-
okay, that's fine.
And so, if I remember that document correctly, it was the invoice.
No,
Well,
it wasn't an invoice.
it
was a-
wasn't?
it was a
Greg,
matrix.
I thought it was an invoice.
It was a matrix showing the costs.
All right. I will believe you, but the township employees' costs were also on that.
I
Miss-
didn't see that.
I
If
I
it
don't
was
know what
there,
to
it was
say.
there.
I,
Okay, but my okay.
Okay,
so
then I have a second.
I can request it again, but my question to you then is that what it costs for all the other employees of this township?
every,
Is it- does it
and
average
that's the second part of
30,000?
what I wanted to say.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm
Okay.
sorry. How, what the cost is, and the cost for the employees is similar, but not the same. And to explain why the costs are different, Greg and I did look into it. We got your right to know, your confirmed appointment request, and we really appreciate that because you wanted an answer to the question, you gave us the time to actually try and find the answers to the question. And Greg contacted Blue Cross, who is the agent for Blue Cross, which is our insurance carrier, and they explained to him how the costs of each policy were calculated. The problem is, we can't explain that publicly without violating HIPAA laws and without violating certain statutes that protects people's privacy on not how much money the township spends, but on personal information regarding their lives, including health information. So,
That doesn't mean that there isn't something out there that is not the same, is not as expensive as that.
and I prefaced my remarks by saying that I was going to address the legal issues with you,
Mhm.
and then you can talk to the Board of Supervisors about the policy issues, but they can't necessarily talk to you
Oh, I
about
would
how
never,
the...
I'm not asking
Okay.
that. I have no, that's not in my,
So, one, yes, that is a benefit that the Second Class Township
I
Code
realize
makes
that.
available to supervisors, and two, there, to a certain extent, we can't explain exactly how the costs are calculated.
May I go now?
yes, you may.
Okay, my costs did go down dramatically last year, and here's why. In 2015, at the, the Jerusalem Evangelical Church up here, I held a town hall right before the election, and I was asked in that meeting if I was going to take the health insurance. And I said, yes, I was. The other supervisors take it, and there's no reason I shouldn't. But I added to that I was going to find a cheaper way to get insurance. I was going to work to lower the cost. All right? So right after the election in 2016, when I was sworn in, I worked with Greg and the insurance agent to come up with some solutions that may be a cheaper cost. One of the solutions that she came up with was a Medigap plan for people who were eligible for Medicare and were on Medicare Part A and B, and this would be a supplemental plan to that, okay? So in my family, there's three of us. My wife, Ada, my daughter, Ada, and myself. Our daughter, we are her guardians, so she is also eligible for that plan. Had all three of us gone on the township plan, it would have cost over $52,000, okay? Over $52,000 for the three of us. We opted to take our daughter off the plan completely and put her on a private plan through our own means that has nothing to do with the township. Cut out a third of it right there. Ada and I decided we were going to take the Medigap option of the plan, which you said came in at $51,090.
5,000, not 51,000.
I'm sorry, 5,100. I actually had looked at numbers and I had estimated it at 8,000, so my numbers were a little off, okay?
Okay.
But I believe what you read, so. So the difference in my mind is over $44,000. that we've given back, that we're not taking from the township every year on an annual basis. So over a 5-year period, that comes up to a $220,000 difference, since it will be for my last 5 years in office, because the first year was on the original plan until we got this in, right? All right, so my first year, we built the plan, the supervisors agreed to it as an option to the portfolio. The second year, my wife and I went on it. Our insurance dropped by about $44,000 a year in township expenses. And like I said, if that's about a $220,000 savings for the township over 5 years, that can be used for roads, it could be used for the park, it could be used for anything you want to use it for. So I hope that's an acceptable explanation of how mine went from 30-some thousand to 5,000.
Anybody else?
Well, from my perspective, I'm on the same plan, I'm on a different plan than Jim because of age difference, okay?
Right.
And since I've been a supervisor, my very first year, I have always tried to provide our employees with decent health insurance because they don't make top dollar wages.
I get that.
So, in order to be fair, I have always tried to keep that to that perspective of our employees have decent health insurance. Now, you can't discriminate against them, so I am in that same plan as what they are, okay? Due to my
So
age.
that means that their
Their-
annual premiums are equivalent to
I don't
yours?
know that. I don't know if the premiums are equivalent to mine. I know that the coverage that I get is what they get. I'm on the same plan as what our road workers would be on. And that's,
No, I was just going to say, I think Mary mentioned earlier that the calculations are different depending on different situations. So I agree with Jay, you can't say it. But I also agree with Jay that I support our employees getting a good health insurance plan because they are not the top paid people, and it's a good way to keep them employed.
I get that.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
still seeing this huge discrepancy between what is reported as an average cost for a family of
Right,
four.
yeah.
That's still, this is a huge jump
It
from
is.
8,000 a year.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I don't understand the average cost for a family of four. I don't.
That's premiums.
Yeah, I do, I hear what you're saying.
Okay.
I hear what you're saying. I represent municipalities. The numbers that we're talking about for, you use Blue Cross and Blue Shield through a private broker.
Correct.
A lot of the municipalities we represent use Delaware Valley Health Insurance Trust, which is a trust that's made up specifically of municipalities, in the plan that this township has. It's very similar to the plan that DVIHT or the basic, one of the basic plans Divot offers. The prices are about the same too. The prices are in the 20,000 per family plus range. Why you're coming up with numbers of 7,000? I don't know. That sounds low to me because in addition to representing municipalities, I'm also a small business owner. Those aren't the costs that we're seeing for our employees. So 7,000 seems very, very low to me. But
Yeah, I would, I'm thinking about all the people that pay taxes for this, and how many of those people have insurance in that range? How many pay $30,000 a year for insurance? How many have the benefits associated with $30,000 a year premium? Probably not many.
How many work for free all year?
Water. Yeah.
I have a question, David Cullen, partner, I have a question for Regina.
Yeah.
These prices that you're talking about, based on the conversation I've heard, this includes the spouses as well as
It's family of four.
but the prices you quoted for supervisors.
That's just the supervisor and the staff.
And the spouse.
And the staffs, yeah.
yeah. Because you're the only one that would have a family plan.
Right, and we took our daughter off the plane completely, yeah.
not, it still doesn't really give me a sense that we're getting all the bang for our tax buck that I think we should, but
Yeah.
I guess that's where we are. Are you accepting questions?
We will, yes.
Okay, Ada Miller, full disclosure, I'm Jim Miller's wife. I have a question for you, Jay, that you said you're taking the insurance so as not to discriminate against the workers? That seems odd, that you're taking it so you don't discriminate against the workers?
No,
That
the
was your-
policy,
That's what you said.
the policy that we offer is the same one as our employees
I
get.
understand that. So the employees agreed, should have that quality of health care. But you're
Well, we
saying,
make
you're
that
saying you're
choice.
taking it to not discriminate against the employees. And really, I don't understand how you, your sentiment on it.
Well,
I don't
maybe the
understand.
word discriminate wasn't the proper word to use, but in accordance, I accept the same health insurance plan that our employees have,
And-
as a choice.
Okay, and your wife is on Medicare?
Yes,
You're not on Medicare, but your wife is.
right.
So you could participate in the Medicare for part of your family.
I could.
I'm just curious, because you know what, this is why I'm upset. Our road can't be lined because it costs too much money. And I'm upset that this money is going for benefits when there are other options, cheaper options. We've got a barn falling apart. We have fields back here that need to be done. I don't understand. How many people do we hear complaining about their roads? I just don't understand. $5,000 compared to what, Mrs. Schramer?
What did I say? For 2016, it was
For just, yeah,
$7,900.
thousand.
7,900
For who, I'm sorry.
for family.
No, 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 no. No, no. We reduced it to 5,000 from what amount?
Oh, from 33,000.
That's a lot of money, and I really think the board should consider it. If this were the school district, Don, you would be all over it. You would be all over it. Thank you.
Anything else?
Mary.
I guess there are no more questions. Thank you, Mrs. Schrameyer. Okay, next thing on the agenda is Planning Commission. Chris Durstein?
Before you start the planning commission report, there's barely a meeting that goes by that I don't thank you for putting this Diaz up here with the electricity in it so we can charge our.
You're welcome. I think I need health insurance for it. Anyway, Planning Commission met last Tuesday. We had no applicants, but we did have a few items of business to take care of. Number one, we reviewed the fireworks ordinance that Mary had put together. I'm assuming you guys had, well, we talked about it last month.
Yeah.
At the Board of Supervisors meeting. We looked it over. We agreed and voted to recommend it as written. We did have two notes on that. Depending on how you guys want this to go. We felt that 9 to 5, the hours of operation 9 to 5 was pretty restrictive for a viable business like that, for it to be a viable business. The other issue was the proximity to a dwelling of 1,500 feet. We also thought that might be a bit restrictive, but again, it really depends on which direction you want to go with how you want to allow this use in the township. We assume that Mary has written a challenge-proof ordinance, and one of our concerns was it's pretty well, sounds like it's pretty well pigeonholed to a certain area that might not be.
I thought I had two certain areas in there. I thought they could have it over on County Lane Road and then on the old 309, what's that, old Bethlehem Pike,
Bethlehem
Pike?
Pike.
Old Bethlehem, you were
right.
easy
No.
too.
No, Bethlehem Pike, not
If-
Old Bethlehem Pike.
Yeah, the old 309.
You have it as, the PC, you have it down on County Line. The PC, up here you have it in PC2. The only PC area was county line, which we assumed was to put a temporary in,
So PC two is
Old Bethel.
the road you live on as
Yes.
opposed to the old 309?
Correct.
I've only lived here for 35 years.
So anyway, I mean, to have a business up there without being within 1,500 feet of a dwelling,
No, that should be changed because what I was trying to do was put it on the old 309. And then the
Okay.
other area, like that was PC or PC2, and this was 2 months ago that I drafted this,
Right.
was on the Ridge Road. And I just didn't think it went well with the Ridge Road to have the police station and then Canopy selling fireworks beside it.
Understood.
It just, that seemed awkward.
have a heck of a fundraiser. So, I mean, if you're willing to relook at that,
Well, yeah, that's up to the board.
Did you
but-
share with the planning commission that I oppose this
I
ordinance
did.
completely? Okay.
Yep.
I don't support it one bit.
I understand, and nobody really felt overly passionate about making this a viable use, and that's why we
Okay.
decided to go with the verbiage that Mary had come up with. But again, we had this caveat that it did seem restrictive on those two counts. So that's what we came up with on that.
I think the
mean,
time limit is restrictive, especially for a business that probably does most of their business when everybody's leaving work,
Yeah, or wherever else they're coming from.
or wherever else they're coming
Right.
from.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't feel passionate either way about it, but
Yeah.
that's just me. So it's, I mean, if you want to rehash this out with Mary about the restrictiveness of it, we did feel it might be challengeable, that it's really pigeonholed.
Yeah.
I'm not
But
as
if you're
concerned
comfortable-
about that.
okay. If you're not concerned about that, then we were fine with the way it was written.
Well, I'm a little bit concerned about the fact that I didn't put it where I was trying
Well, then you
to.
might want to revisit that.
Why don't you take a look at that, Mary, and,
I am.
okay, all right,
So that's what we had on the fireworks.
all right.
Next item was saldo corrections. Last month, you had authorized Steve to go through the saldo prior to codification to make some corrections that he's come up with over the years, and some updates and whatnot. So he presented his corrections to us last Tuesday. Aside from a couple of editorial items, we were on board with everything he had come up with, so we are recommending pending his corrections to the minor items that he had.
Okay.
So, and he's not here to verify that, so I can say whatever I want, right?
Yeah, you can, yeah.
So that's where we are with the saldo corrections. The last thing we did, we looked at the subdivision land development application procedure sheet, which we didn't see anything really pressing on that. One thing to note, plans are to be submitted to the fire marshal by the applicant. That is what's written on the procedure now. That, if I'm correct, is now handled by the township. Township submits that to the fire marshal.
We will.
Okay, which would, you must have done the last one because it came back right away.
It seems to work better that way.
Yeah. So we're on board with that. Other than that, we felt that anything that might come up with that application procedure would be handled by the engineering or township staff.
Okay.
And that's all we have.
Okay. Any questions?
None for me.
Questions? Okay, motion to approve?
So moved.
I'll second it.
All right, all in favor?
All right.
All right, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Chris. Park and Rec, Bob Strobel.
Yes. Found the poster. This is but I'm going to start off with, at our Park and Rec meeting this past month, we had a question on the treasurer's report, if you recall. And it was Mr. Groff with payment of $500 twice. And I did talk to Greg, and he got me straightened out on where that cost came from. And it's for a new, it's because of the water in the park, and he's looking at a new system for the filtering, which raises the question, how much do we use that water fountain, and do we want to re-look at this whole situation with the water? being, so you can drink it. Because every time we go, I mean, for September Fest or any other time, we do not use the water from that well.
Gets used very little.
Yeah, because it's not clean. So what do you say, Greg? What's your?
It passes all DEP regulations, it gets tested, and it's clean. However, there is some sedimentation in it, which gives some discoloring.
That's why we don't use that for our coffee making.
You know one thing I wanted to just bring up, Bob, that you know, if you put a wet pump down, if you set the pump too close to the bottom, it should be like 10 feet off, 5 feet to 10 feet off the bottom of the well. If you have it too close, every time that pump
Suck it
kicks
up.
on, it could suck up and agitate sediment.
It will.
And we could be getting that in there. I don't know who did the well, who dropped that well down there. If we could find out some information on when it was dropped. Did they bring it back up
Didn't
to the proper height?
Mayor do that
It was mayor, I believe. and-
about 2 years ago?
Well, when we had the old pumping area.
Right.
Right.
And they came and pulled things out.
Right.
And
Well, that could be.
did.
that
But we
could be
don't
one
know
of the
what
reasons.
level it's at.
What's that?
We don't know what
the
level.
No.
Didn't that clear up when we ran that last year for the fishing?
It's always in the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
And it's not run that often. It's only run at certain times of the year. And when
Yeah.
it's run for a while, it's fine. It clears up all the sedimentation. However, when it's not run, the sedimentation sits in there. What's in there now is a home filter, and you need more of a commercial filter to get out the sedimentation.
But it does pass, there's no issue with the water, it's not unsafe.
It is safe to drink, it's just sedimentation.
Just doesn't look good.
It just doesn't look
What do you
good.
think, Jack?
Well, I don't know how much money you want to spend.
Well, that's,
And
yeah.
I mean, if it's safe, if the water's safe and there's no issue, health issue, you know, I'd be cautious on how much money we do spend.
Right.
Does Little League
That's
use
my
the water?
opinion.
Yeah.
Does Little League use the water?
Not for drinking, no.
They just wet their
Do we
fields.
know for
They wet their
sure?
fields down.
And there is water in the machines, right?
Right.
Correct.
For
There's
drinking.
water in
Yeah,
the machines.
drinking water, yeah.
I'm working on a quote now for a commercial type filter.
It'd be better.
Which would solve that question then for us.
So,
Okay, well, that brought that issue, I guess what came back was that on our treasurer's report, it listed at $500 for Mr. Groff twice, one for a year 16 and one for 17, that's what we were.
That's his yearly monitoring fee. What Mr. Groff does is he does all the DEP reports because it's a public water supply. Because it's a public water supply, it has higher regulations than our other properties.
okay.
Okay, next item for me would be the tot lot. As you know, we had our fishing derby, and at the fishing derby, we had a sign up, and so we asked all the kids to look at this and give us their, okay, of which one would they like to have at the tot lot as an expansion area. And the one they came up mostly was this climbing wall. That's their number one pick. Okay, a climbing wall right now happens to be on sale. If you call sale, sale.
Well, that was a big reduction if you looked at that. I got
Yes,
that.
you got-
Suzanne sent us that email. Yeah, you should look at
Okay,
that
let me-
to see how much money that it's reduced right now. And
Yeah.
if you don't mind, Bob, I'd like you to announce that total. The two items that they picked,
Yes, well,
that the Park and Rec Committee picked.
right now, there's a little discrepancy on that one item, but Suzanne picked out something. The climbing wall, the usual price is $6,969 for that climbing wall. And we have another item that we'd like to go with, but that's a little discrepancy right now. I think we're a little
What-
confused on this cozy cocoon.
What's confused? You
That-
had a vote.
That
I
top.
know, but it's not, it doesn't jive up with what Suzanne's saying. There's something wrong here, so I'm going to go along with her vote on this one.
What's wrong?
She didn't make the meeting. So as it stands right now, if we get two items for our expansion of the tot lot with, and we chose the cozy if we did, then including freight, we're looking at a sum of $8,387. That would be for two items, including the freight, which isn't bad.
No, considering that one was almost 7,000 by itself without the reduced price. On that only holds to the end of the month?
till June 30th.
June 30th.
So the climbing wall, which was interesting, it has, it's for ages 5 to 12. And the space it is required is, fits right in. I went over and measured, so that's good. And the other one was for ages 2 to 12, the cozy cocoon. So if we went with those two, we'd be up to 8,000 some. So, since we're on a roll, we thought the Park and Rec, and you got us the okay to expand, we're looking at this as an expansion.
What do you have in your budget?
We don't have the money in our budget, let's face it. We're looking at possibly you doing what you've done in the past for other groups. It was to, give them a loan. And then, we would, pay back through those monies coming in of some sort like that.
I'll share with you an example I gave to them. We get donations to the Park and Rec through development, when development happens. If we took this, and only this suggestion was only made because of the reduction in cost savings that we could save on these two items if we did choose them now, since we have the tot lot ready to go. If we purchased them now and then paid for it out of our general fund, and then paid that money back when we got funds that would be reintroduced to the Park and Rec, it would be a cost to us. It would be out of our general fund for now, but it would go back when the money would come into the Park and Rec fund. Not saying it was only a suggestion, because we have shown in the past that we have made loans to entities ahead of time. We gave them a payment up front.
Yeah.
So whether or not, it's just an idea. I mean, of course, you have to make the decision if you want to do it or not. But we have the tot lot is done. It's all ready to go. The only thing we need is the equipment. And we've tried hard with fundraisers and with donation jars at Septemberfest and several events that we've had, and we're only collecting a couple $100, few $100. We're never going to get to the $8,000 that we would need to do this.
Be a long time, the kids will be grown by then.
Yeah, so it's only a suggestion, a thought.
Okay,
to
I'm just
think
trying to
about.
figure out how long would it take to repay $8,000 if we don't, if there's no money coming in from donations, and we're saying that this would be a loan, how would we
It would
know that-
depend on,
Yeah.
depend on revenue through development, like when we get money given to us through our fees,
Yeah.
fee schedule, right? The way we
Right,
do that.
there's $500 per lot
Right.
for a new house
Okay.
that goes to the Park and Rec.
So we would have to rely on that to happen at some point in time. Don't know when, we're not projecting anything that's gonna happen any timeline. I'm only suggesting that we consider this.
And I think it's a good suggestion. I do. I mean, I like the idea of lending them money rather than just taking it out of the
Well,
general fund. I
that-
mean,
that-
to me,
Yeah.
I mean,
That-
we've been saying all along, we don't have money in the general fund to just be giving it out, right? So.
And that way it's ensured that it's gonna be paid back. It's gonna be given back. Kind of the same way we did we bought the Grub property across here.
Yeah.
That we're renting out, that's paying back. That rent money's paying back into the general fund to pay for the house, or to the open space.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think it's a win thing, or could be a win thing, but it's a choice that, you guys have to make.
So you have no money for even a down payment?
Well, we have like 1,500 after you look at the 6,000 out, which we just,
I
But
think they
you,
have about approximately $1,100. I wrote it down on a
but
sheet
you,
of paper that's
but
in
you,
front of
but
Jay.
some of that
Oh,
money,
okay.
some of that money is fishing derby
September
money.
Fest.
You guys authorized $12,000 to be spent.
Okay.
6,000 from the Board of Supervisors and 6,000
So
from
we're
Park
at,
and Rec.
where are we at now?
I think approximately $1,100. I wrote it on a sheet of paper that's somewhere in front of you.
Okay.
So what we have now, what did that cost us? Cost more than what you said then? 'cause it was-
No, it cost, if it's $12,000 minus 1,100, that is, what is that? $10,900
900.
it cost. So they still have $1,100 to spend
Right.
that's been authorized by the Board of Supervisors.
But I thought in their budget for this year, they had like $15,000 was a part of the incoming revenue.
It's
And
usually.
we gave 6,000 from the funds that were not spent last year.
Right.
So that says, and they were gonna put in 6,000.
Right.
So that means they should still have 6,000 in their budget. Round numbers.
No, they spent that
That's
What
what's,
did they spend it on?
on
On
the
the
wood
expansion.
chips and the expansion and the cement for the ramp and,
Well, that's what the $12,000 was for. 6 from you and 6 from the,
right, and that's
Excess.
what we're talking about.
okay, but you had 15,000 in your budget
No.
for the
And
year.
15 minus the 6, and then,
Okay, so that's 9,000 left.
okay, I don't know the numbers, that's for sure.
however, some of that money is fishing derby money, is startup money for September
September,
Fest.
yeah.
Right, yeah.
Some of that money goes out in
It's line item.
June or July, it starts going out for September Fest.
Well, and there's money in there for September Fest.
Right.
Yeah.
Do we have donations that came in?
Right, and then you also start sending money out ahead of time for.
Greg,
for-
could you pull your mic over? David can't hear in the back,
So,
and others.
so I think what we need to do is sit down and look at the actual monies we have now,
Right.
after we've spent the 6,000 and so, correct?
Well, I don't
Yeah.
think we can make a decision until we
No.
know how much money it is, and it sounds like we have till the end of June.
Yes.
All right, so we have
Yeah,
another meeting
couple
between
weeks,
now and
yeah.
then,
Right.
okay?
And s-
Well, we
So
can
if
fit-
we do something before the 30th of June, we
Yeah.
can still get the
All right.
discount, which is a lot of money.
Right, let's just determine how much you would need to take as a loan and how much you have to put in.
Right, okay.
Tony,
Yeah, Tony Bogner, Climber Avenue. What's the cost of the installation of it?
That is still in question.
Yeah.
In other words,
Another
I've
couple
asked if
grand.
the guys on the crew could, do the installation.
Because I'll tell you.
And they could do it, but there's question from Greg about,
Liability.
Because
Liability.
a lot of them, there was a big expenditure for that mulch, and I still
it
don't
was a lot of
understand
money.
how you're gonna get footings in, because they assume it has to have footings, and how much of that mulch gets destroyed
yeah,
before,
Right.
digging it.
Yeah.
Well, the mulch is about a foot thick, then you got the mesh and you got the stone.
I know, but it's not like, once you start digging, it.
Well, yeah, you would have to do a
Somebody
personal
personally,
layout.
like,
Becomes a
takes
mixed
it all
mess.
out of there.
yeah,
There's a certain percentage that you're gonna lose.
Right.
And that mulch was like $6 grand or something, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
It was
Yeah.
4 something, yes.
yeah.
It's expensive mulch.
Yeah.
Bob, why don't you work up the total cost with installation and the amount you have in your budget that you could put
Okay.
forward and what you would like to see the board give you as a loan,
Okay,
and then have all that. If you can get that for us before the next meeting, we can all take a look at it, so we're coming in with some questions or whatever by the next meeting. Is that all right?
yeah, this is just a start, but.
This is just a start, but you've got 45 days to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's gonna go
So-
fast, time-wise,
Oh, yeah, it's one meeting, yeah.
yeah.
Bob, I have a question on this. Is there any kind of assistant or restraining equipment that goes with this climbing wall?
No,
Because most climbing walls, I mean, that I've seen a commercial, have some kind of device that the kids can wear and so they don't fall and break their neck or
This
whatever.
isn't that high.
This one's
Isn't
about
that
this
high?
high, I think.
climbing walls for ages,
4 to 12. I'm not sure it's even as high as the equipment that's already
Yeah.
over there,
right, it isn't that high.
Yeah.
No.
which they climb up every day.
Climbing wall was for ages 2 to 12. Okay, well, let me get some information ready for you. Next item is the park bench is in,
Good.
but we're going to have to adjust our cost. Cost now comes at $357, and we charge $350, so we got to up the cost a little bit on the bench and the tag nameplate. So we're off. So I'm not sure what happened there cost-wise.
Yeah.
Things have changed.
Okay.
Okay, that's pretty much what I want to talk about for now.
There was one issue we talked about as far as the Park and Rec Committee knowing what's happening in the park function-wise. When somebody is going to have a function, the Park and Rec Committee should be notified or have input on what happens. Whether it's the Compassionate Friends Garden or
Oh, that's okay.
Anybody.
The pavilion, or?
We talked about that, because apparently there was something scheduled or something that we weren't quite sure about, and the pavilions were occupied or
I think
reserved.
that's on the agenda, already signed up. for
Okay.
the,
Are we communicating, or I should say,
They are.
is every entity that does anything in the park communicating?
Like for reservations,
Through the-
we can make sure that they know
Okay.
about it.
Do you have access to the calendar, the
Yeah.
event calendar?
I can get everybody access to the event calendar.
Okay, because it's on there, and I know that last year, there was an event for Penn Foundation, I think,
Yeah.
and there was about 75 special needs people coming in, and the Little League was refusing to let them use the parking in the front, because they were using it that day. And these people had reserved the park, and they had all handicap buses. So it was a mess, and I had to come over and help move cars. So I agree with you completely, is my
Yeah.
point. We need to know every event that's
Sure.
going on there, and Bob, as the chairman, needs to be involved so that
He should be
he
informed.
Yeah.
he knows what's going on, he knows there's no conflicts, and, I agree completely.
But I think we do know that the garden people have already talked to the township and things are reserved and.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
things are
they're
aligned.
reserving the
Okay.
pavilions and all,
Things
yeah.
are good on
yeah.
that.
The baseball schedule has been forwarded to the Park and Rec,
Yes, true.
Okay.
so they know the baseball
So that
schedule.
closed the loop. We add this to it.
Yeah,
I think we're good.
Okay.
Thank you.
One more thing for Park and Rec. You mentioned the Compassionate Friends. The Compassionate Friends had their dedication service this past month, and it was well attended by a couple of hundred people. I know Bob and Carol were there, Ada and I were there, and there was just a lot of enthusiasm about the new garden. They loved it. They absolutely loved it, and I'm so thankful that West Rock Hill let them put that garden in. So thank you to everyone for your support. Thank you to everyone who actually helped get in there and build it. I know several of us were in there in the rain and everything else trying to get everything finished up. But it is beautiful. If you haven't seen it lately, go over and look. It's all set for the summer, so it's officially open now. So thank you. Okay. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Second? Okay, all in favor?
All right.
Aye, okay. Comprehensive plan, Don.
Okay, comprehensive plan. Our next meeting is the 31st of May. We are getting heavy into the types of housing, the types of zoning, the improvements to the ordinances to provide for the growth that we expect projected for the next 20 years. And I would urge as many people as are interested to come and hear what the discussion is. We get into much detail and some quite controversial items and differences of view, which is good. And so I would invite you all, some of you anyway, to come and attend. We have 2 or 3 that come pretty regularly, so the more the better. The better you understand what's going on and what's going to be coming down in this community in the next 20 years. So there is a report available. Is the report minutes available
I think so.
on the web?
If not, we can make sure that they
Yeah.
are.
Okay. Is that it?
That's it.
Okay.
I'll make a motion.
Motion, I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Police report, Chief Blake. Good evening.
Hello, Chief. We haven't seen you for a while.
How's everybody? This is the May 2018 Penrose Regional Police Report. It gives the activity for April 2018. Penrose Regional Police responded to 437 calls for service. 183 were in East Rockville, 254 were in West Rockville. We also handled 27 crashes, 8 in East Rockville, 19 in West Rockville. 8 were reportable crashes, 19 were non-reportable crashes. The department responded to 10 Part 1 crimes and 29 Part 2 crimes in April, totaling 39 crimes. In West Rockville, the crimes are as follows: manslaughter, assault, 3 theft cases, sex offense against a minor, 2 harassment cases, 2 fraud cases, criminal mischief, possession of marijuana, drug violation, and possession of narcotics, 1 DUI, disorderly conduct, public drunkenness, 4 dog law violations, and 2 ordinance violations. In East Rock Hill, there were 2 burglary cases, 2 theft cases, 1 receiving stolen property, 1 DUI, 2 disorderly conduct cases, 2 criminal mischief cases, 1 harassment, 2 ordinance violations, and 3 dog law violations. The criminal charges filed in April, 1 drug delivery resulting in death, which was the manslaughter crime listed. 1 burglary charge, 1 criminal trespass, 1 theft, 1 receiving stolen property, 1 pedestrian under the influence, 1 simple assault, 1 harassment, 1 public drunkenness case, arrest, 2 DUI arrests, 3 possession of drug paraphernalia, 4 possession of small amount of marijuana, and 1 disorderly conduct. Also conducted 208 traffic enforcement details, issuing 72 warnings, 43 citations, and 16 verbal warnings. The Upper Bucks Motor Carriage Safety Equipment Enforcement Report, there were 16 inspections completed on commercial vehicles, 22 violations, 4 out-of-service violations, and 1 vehicle was weighed. We also had our drug take-back event on April 28, 2018, and our totals that day, which is combined at our police station and Grandview Hospital, we brought in 59.86 pounds, and the county brought in 3,149.18 pounds. Our drop box totals, which are from October to April, we store that, and then at those drug take-back events, those are weighed separately. The total is 138.58 pounds. The Bucks County total was 5,575 pounds. And since September 2010, this is amazing, Bucks County has collected 107,154.39 pounds of prescription drugs over the counter, whatever, so that's a lot. I know Bucks County alone has brought in more than the whole state of Delaware. So Bucks County really leads the charge. Ray Fox from Safe Communities in Richland Township, he's a volunteer, really promotes this, does a great job up there, and it's just a really, really good effort. So
Tremendous.
Yep.
that's the report.
Okay.
You forgot something, Chief Blake. May 28th.
Oh, the 26th. It's the run.
26th.
To Run the Rocks.
Run the Rocks.
On Saturday, the 26th is the 5K Run the Rocks race over at East Rockville Park. So,
You can sign up now online at the Penn Ridge Regional Police website
yep.
through PayPal.
And Bob, your run, I expect to see you there. You're
I
running
run.
enough.
Yeah.
Over there at that park, get over there and start running.
5K starts at 9 in the morning. Come in, I guess registration's going to start, actually, I think registration's going to start about 9.
Yeah. Nova, benefits Nova, Penn Foundation.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
any money's collected
Yeah.
goes right to those organizations. No money spent with the PD. There were donations through various businesses for the shirts. Bucksmont Awards donates the awards. Wooder comes from ServPro. So the businesses really kick in and donate. So
Harley Davidson's going to have their bikes there if you want to come over and sit on a bike.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'd like to just share it publicly. For those of you who don't know, this is National Police Week for law enforcement. I want to thank the chief and commend him and his officers for the great job that the regional police do for our community.
Absolutely.
Appreciate
Best,
that.
best in the area.
If you see an officer on the road, thank them.
Yeah.
Thank them for their service, please.
Yeah,
Truly-
I'm really excited when you pull them over.
What can I do for you today, officer?
It's really, it's really officers in my command, I just sit and push papers all day, really. And, they're the ones doing the work. They're out there day in and day out, grinding it out and making a positive influence in the community. And
But let me say that's not true. I called last week, you were on patrol.
Well, sometimes.
So,
yeah.
okay, all right.
That's okay.
All right, any other questions, comments? Okay, motion?
I'll make a motion, we accept
So,
this report.
second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Chief. Good job.
The Joint Rec Authority. Last year I gave you a show and tell on everything we were doing over the winter. Well, I've got another one. So I'll just take a couple minutes. Judy's going to plug that in. We have been making more and more changes to the pool, trying to get it upgraded more. And I just have some pictures here of the changes we've been making. You can start right at the top, Judy, and just, they should just go right on through. This is our Greg, can you get the lights?
Sure.
This is, you're all familiar probably with the parking lot. We had that done last year, but all the lights in the parking lot were changed this year. As long as every light in the whole property was changed over to LED. So that's the daytime view, and if, Judy, if you go to the next one, and with our lights, you can see there's lots of light in there now, okay? We went from, there's 6 light poles here, and there's 6 light poles around the pool itself. On those 12 light poles, we went from 36,000 watts of electricity down to under 3,000. Okay, it was a 91% savings in electricity just on those lights. And imagine we changed every light in the complex. So we're looking at a huge savings here, and I'm just so happy we did this. But you can see, I've talked to the neighbors. I asked the neighbors, is too much glare, whatever. One neighbor complained there was too much glare. We turned the light down, and they were fine. The people that live at the end of the property thanked me because they said the traffic in there at night is not what it used to be. All right, so they are very happy that the drug dealers or users or whatever that they see in there at night are not coming in there anymore. So, and we've seen it too on our this is a view from one of our cameras, by the way. We have 3 security cameras now. So this is the view from one of them of the parking lot. It runs 24 hours a day and alerts us if anybody pulls in the parking lot or even walks in the parking lot. So next, Judy. So around the pool, this is the view. Pardon the mess, we're still cleaning up and getting ready. We just had, the water's been filling, and that was yesterday before it was all filled. But you can see all the lighting we have in there now. So everything's coming together. It'll be all ready for opening day. Oh, that one came up sideways. There we go. That's just a view of one of the light posts that's in there. On the top is the new light. It's 150 watts compared to 3,000 watts that were on that pole before. And it's almost twice as bright. Okay, that's a huge difference. Below that is one of our new speakers. We have a 8-speaker surround sound system we put in, and it all ties into an amplifier that sits in the guardhouse now. And Suzanne and I were over there playing with it. We're plugging our phones into it and playing music. And we've had many complaints from the neighbors about the noise from the old system. So we had the neighbors come over when this was put in, and they listened to it on the grounds. They went home. They called us up and said everything's fine. Because it's all directional. It all comes to the center of the pool. Nothing goes out into the neighborhood. So they are extremely happy with that. This is a view of our new camera, our 3rd camera, of the snack bar. Once again, any movement, we're notified. We can see the snack bar, we can see the back of the old YMCA building, and straight up ahead of you on the top is the skateboard park. So we can see everything that's going on now in the area. And you can see these cameras are amazing. And you can drill down in. I could drill down in and read the menu probably with these cameras. So these benches, thank you to Mr. Bob Strobel, who took these 2 old antique benches. And he took them out. He had the bases sandblasted. He put all new wood on them and stained it. So we are so happy to have those back, Bob. Thank you.
Good.
We took all 10 of our picnic tables, we stripped them down completely. The bases were sanded and repainted, and then we replaced boards we had to. And Suzanne and I, along with several other people, have been in there repainting them all with 2 coats of finish over a base of primer. So we've got all 10 of them started. We've got a couple more we have to get together before, but they really came out nice. And thank you to Worth & Company and to Jay. They supplied us 3 new sinks, one for the men's room, ladies' room, and one for the handicap bathroom. So that's what that camera looks like. I think that's it. I do want to say we can't do this without our volunteers. And we have volunteers, and I'm telling you, many of them aren't even members of the pool. They came over just to help. I want to thank Bob Strobel for the benches and the painting he's been doing, Debbie Neeson and Sandy Leopold who come over there. They even had a key for a while because they were coming over so much and doing painting and stripping down wood and everything. So thank them. Tony and Ron Buck from Sellersville came over. Tony donated flowers for the whole place, and then she's been planting them. She brought over 16 new huge pots to plant flowers in. Carol and Barry Kuhn, Barry's an ex-councilman in Sellersville, they came over, and Barry and Ron stripped down over 200 of the rusted screws and bolts so that we could reuse them. And we saved a couple of $100